Okay, so picture this, it's the year 1900. You're a sponge diver and you get caught in a storm. You take shelter and you stumble upon a 2,000-year-old shipwreck just loaded with priceless art. But then you pull up this corroded lump of bronze. It looks like a piece of junk. You're this close to just tossing it back, but you don't. And that one little decision, it's about to rewrite the entire history of technology.
I mean, that question sounds like something out of science fiction, right? Before there was silicon, before electricity, before we even had the kinds of clocks we think of today, could the ancient Greeks really have built a computer? Well, the answer is hiding inside that strange lump of bronze.
So this is it. This is what they pulled out of the water. It's covered in rock-like deposits, it's corroded, it's just completely unremarkable. In fact, for a whole year after they found it, it just sat in a museum in Athens, totally ignored. Everybody thought it was just another chunk of wreckage.
But here's the thing. This object, which we now call the Antikythera Mechanism, was hiding an absolutely impossible secret. Today, it's considered the world's first analog computer, which, looking at this corroded lump, sounds completely absurd.
Okay, so how on earth do you get from that corroded lump to this intricate cosmic calculator? That right there is the central mystery we're diving into. This was a machine packed with gears so complex, we wouldn't see anything like it again for over 1,000 years.
To really get this, we've got to go back to the beginning, back to the incredible story of its discovery. Because believe it or not, the greatest technological marvel of the ancient world was almost lost to history for a second time.
Now, this timeline is so important. The lump gets pulled from the sea in May of 1901. But it's not until a full year later, May 1902, that an archaeologist named Valerio Stace is just looking at the broken pieces and spots something incredible. The faint, unmistakable outline of a gear wheel.
And you can totally see why they missed it. This thing didn't come up by itself. It came from a treasure ship. We're talking a priceless cargo of these magnificent bronze and marble statues. That was the prize. The corroded lump was just scrap metal, an afterthought.
And that's the real kicker, isn't it? The beautiful irony. Here it is, surrounded by some of the most incredible art from the ancient world, and the single most valuable, most technologically advanced object on that entire ship was almost thrown away.
So how did we crack the code? How did science finally unlock a secret that was sealed away for 2,000 years? Well, it was a tech-fueled detective story that took decades to solve.
For years, researchers were basically guessing. Early on, they used 2D X-rays, which showed there were gears inside, but they had no idea how they all fit together. But then, 2005 happened. A team brought in these incredibly advanced imaging technologies. We're talking 3D X-ray CT scans and special surface mapping to digitally look inside the fragments without actually breaking them.
And what they found, it was just mind-blowing. Things that were completely invisible before were suddenly crystal clear. Inside those rocky chunks was this whole universe of at least 30 precision-cut bronze gears, all interlocking like a high-end Swiss watch. And get this, the scans also picked up thousands of tiny text characters inscribed all over the machine. Basically, a 2,000-year-old user manual.
Okay, so now they can see all the gears, all the text. The machine's inner workings are finally revealed. But the big question remained, what was its purpose? What problem was this incredibly complex clockwork designed to solve?
Well, the answer was literally written all over it. The entire device was built around a key astronomical pattern called the Saros cycle. Now, this cycle was first figured out by Babylonian astronomers who noticed that eclipses tend to repeat themselves every 223 lunar months. The Greeks took that Babylonian science and baked it right into this amazing piece of engineering.
And this is where it gets really, really cool. It wasn't just predicting if an eclipse was going to happen. The inscriptions and all those gears showed it could predict the type of eclipse, the exact hour it would occur, its likely color and size, and even whether you could see it from where you were. This thing was an absolutely astonishing predictor of the cosmos.
Look, a machine this advanced, it doesn't just build itself. It needs a genius. So the next logical question is, who in the ancient world could have possibly come up with something like this?
And what's crazy is, we actually have clues from ancient texts. The Roman writer Cicero wrote about a bronze sphere that was built by the legendary Greek inventor Archimedes over 100 years before this shipwreck. And listen to how he described it. A machine that could perfectly model the complex motions of the sun, moon, and planets. Sound familiar?
So, can we say for sure that Archimedes built this specific mechanism? No, we can't.
But what it does prove is that this device wasn't a one-off fluke. It was the product of a lost tradition of mechanical genius. The Antikythera Mechanism is very likely the last surviving example of these incredible cosmic calculators.
All right, let's pull back and look at the big picture here. Why does this one rusty object, pulled from the bottom of the sea, matter so much? Because it completely changes our entire understanding of the ancient world.
Because according to everything we thought we knew about history, this thing, it just shouldn't exist. Its system of intricate gears, some of them are no bigger than a fingernail, shows a level of miniaturization and complexity that was supposed to be completely impossible for ancient engineers.
And that number? That represents a 1,000-year hole in our understanding of history. Before we figured this mechanism out, we thought technology this complex didn't show up again until the giant astronomical clocks in medieval Europe, over 1,000 years later. This one artifact proved that our entire timeline of technology was wrong. And this, for me, is the biggest takeaway of all. We always knew the ancient Greeks were brilliant thinkers, in philosophy, math, astronomy, but the Antikythera Mechanism is the physical proof that they could turn all that theory into real working machines. They didn't just understand the cosmos, they built a machine to compute.
So think about that. This incredible computer was lost for 2 millennia, its very existence totally unknown. It just makes you wonder, right? What other secrets does the past still hold? What other wonders are out there buried in the sand or hidden in the deep, just waiting to rewrite history all over again?